Hello, my name's Cliff Stevenson and I'm the Helpful Economist. Today we're looking at the issue of whether there is a UK household debt time bomb. The Financial Conduct Authority, which is the regulator for the UK financial services industry, recently published a rather unremarkable looking press release on the burden of bills in the cost of living crisis. Now, it actually contains some quite interesting data which was picked up by other press outlets. This data looked at the number of adults missing bills in credit payments in at least 3 of the previous 6 months, and it showed that this had increased from 4.2 million in May 2022 to 5.6 million in January 2023, and this means that 11% of adults, more than 1 in 5, has missed multiple bills in the past 6 months. The FCA also produced data on the number of adults struggling to meet payments, and this increased from 7.8 million to 10.9 million, an increase of 40%. And in 2023, 21%, more than 1 in 5 of adults, are struggling to meet payments. Let's look at some other evidence. There's a fairly consistent story coming out of the Citizens Advice Bureau this year. They provide data on the percentage of people that speak to them about debt issues that have a negative budget. And this increased dramatically from 37% in 2019 to 52% in 2023. Now, being in a negative budget means that outgoings are greater than income, and it only recorded essential outgoings. This didn't include any luxuries. So this is quite a shocking trend. Other relevant data comes from the Insolvency Service, which provides data on the total number of individual insolvencies. Insolvency is where people are no longer able to meet their financial obligations. This shows that for the past 10 years there has been an upward trend, although the peak was actually in 2019, pre-cost of living crisis. That upward trend hasn't really worsened since, but it is at relatively high levels. So far we've been looking at the number of individuals that have debt problems, and this is clearly increasing very significantly. But is there an impact of this debt problem for the economy as a whole? The picture here is a little less clear. The Office for National Statistics produces data of household debt as a percentage of income, and this grew from 80% in 1987 to a peak of 154% around 2008, around the time of the financial crisis. This ratio has fallen since and then has been relatively stable for quite a few years, although this data only goes up to 2022 Q1, so we still may see an increase when the more up-to-date data is published. But perhaps this suggests that at a macroeconomic level, it doesn't look like there is a household debt crisis. However, at a microeconomic level, the negative impact of debt is clearly focused on the least wealthy. Looking at the ratio of debt to total wealth for 2016 to 18, we can see that the least wealthy 10% of households have debt 3 times their wealth, and the next highest, the third decile, has a much lower debt to wealth ratio at 50%. The chart on the left shows total household debt in billions, and we can see that actually in absolute terms the least wealthy have a relatively low amount of debt and the most wealthy have much higher levels of debt. But although this debt is high, as a ratio of their wealth, the debt is very low. So the debt problem is very much focused on the least wealthy 10%. In conclusion, there is clear evidence of an increasing debt problem, so there is a time bomb. But this isn't for the economy as a whole. Of course, the cost of living crisis hurts everyone, but it's not critical in terms of debt for most people. The situation is critical for those with the least income and wealth. They really are at the centre of this possible time bomb. I hope you found this information useful. I'm Cliff Stevenson. I'm the Helpful Economist. See you next time.